myself now, hoping that this will work this time. TikTok, why you gotta hate me? Do you see me, Mom? Hi, Carissa. I was just on and there was an issue with my volume. So, can you hear me at all? Hi, yes, hi. It's better? Good? Can you hear me? Hi, Nicole. My wife and I talked about how we missed your chat last night, so hopefully we're not alienating anybody. We're intending not to do that, obviously. Hi, thank you for being here. I'm going to try and invite a couple more people really fast because this is a new room because the one I was just in didn't work. So we're going to try this here real quick. Yeah, it could be an issue with TikTok. Did you see that I was able to post a new video? I'm back, baby. Yeah, I invite them individually. Everybody that's getting here, thank you. Get in, get comfortable. We got a lot to cover. I'm trying to get some people in here. I really want to get... Hey, Joe. The video that I just did, if you wanted to take a look at it, it's on my bio. It's about the gut biome. I had a whole list of videos that I wanted to do, and I started recording them, and then I was like, well, what if I just can never post a video on my account again? Like, that was legitimately what I was thinking was going to happen. So I didn't want to have 6, 8, 10 videos queued up, and then it turns out that I have to bail on this account, so I stopped making them, but I have a couple in queue. Thank you, Rich. I appreciate that. Yeah, I tried to invite 10. Yeah, it's cool. It's yeah, I'm able to post videos. Yes, God is good. I didn't think it was gonna happen. Like, I was pretty nervous about it. I don't know what I had said or done, but I was on other people's lives and trying to talk, and it wasn't being seen, and I just was getting kind of concerned that you know, same thing happened to me on YouTube. I was just getting shipped down the Ban River. Thank you. Yeah, so I got a lot of videos coming. My hope is, or my plan is, I want to make a video every day and then basically have that be the kicking off point for our discussion here at night. And instead of it just being me ranting, I really want to get more involved in your guys' thoughts and your feedback and make it more reciprocal and interactive instead of me just rambling. I mean, I love rambling and I will keep doing it as long as I'm able. But yeah, I want to make it more interactive. So yeah, the video that I made is about the gut biome. And you know, I'm 43, and 20 years ago, nobody had any idea, right? When they took out my appendix, nobody had any idea. Well, in theory, nobody had any idea. I mean, Hippocrates did, but that guy was a hypocrite, so he didn't know what he was talking about. Let's see, it's about time. Thank you. Is that where we get a hypocrite from Hippocrates? I mean, I would think they would be tied in together, right? Was he a hypocrite? Huh. I'll have to think about that. Hippocrates, if you know the Bill and Ted reference. So yeah, he talked about health being in the gut and disease starting in the gut. And then, you know, they were kind of willy-nilly taking out appendixes, which I made that video and have had a lot of discussions with people on it as a sufferer of an appendectomy and having struggled with gut bacteria basically ever since. Like, I remember my life before that and my life after that. And initially, I just thought it was anesthesia and seizure, and so I'd had like a trauma, and so my digestion was bad. But it never really recovered to the level where, you know, I would like it to be. Thankfully, I'm a lot better now. I have a note here to maybe go into my health journey, but, you know, we were pretty concerned a year and a half back that I was dying. I lost 25 pounds. I had this crazy face rash. I was urinating blood with a high fever. Everything hurt, you know, inflammation, systemic inflammation. Nobody knew, nobody had any idea because I was going to just, you know, Western medicine, and nobody had any idea what was going on, right? And we ended up not being able to get any answers, which was about the 5th time that the medical establishment had let me down. And so then I started seeing a functional medicine doctor, and they ran the blood labs, and turned out I had overpermeability of the gut. And it's been quite an adventure journey trying to get that straightened out. I had a really good discussion with Warrior Monk the other day. I'm hoping to have a conversation with him. I want him to come back on. Let's see here. Are you going to stick with the subject? I'm going to try to stick to the subject. Hardcore health. Awesome. Gus, I would like to get your take on this. So basically, we've got this bacteria in our gut, right? Yeah, you've had that too. What's interesting is, so obviously we are attracted to either like-minded people or complementary people, but we're attracted to the kind of people that, you know, have some sort of personality draw, right? And Rich and I, Nicole and I, my wife and I, you know, we all meet on different levels, but there's something there linking these together. And it's interesting to me that Rich and Nicole, you've had the digestive issues, and a lot of people have, based on the appendix video that I have. And it's almost like, you know, we know about the gut-brain connection, right, and how important that is. And it's almost like when your gut becomes, you know, in dysbiosis or whatever, that it affects your mental state. Maybe it's harder for you to have peace of mind. Maybe you start searching for answers more. Like maybe people with like really solid digestions just don't ask any questions. They're just like, yep, I got a job, I got a car, I go to work, I eat the food. Like it's really simple for them. And then we have been rewired a little bit, and it's like looking for answers. I don't know if there's a connection there. Richie had a similar situation. I'm not sure who Richie is. Oh, yeah, Richie. I know who Richie is. I hadn't heard him as Richie, but there you go. So I guess here's the first question is, does the medical establishment, did they know this, right, going into it? Because I subscribe to the idea, or I know the true history, depending on where you stand on the conspiracy spectrum. I think I know where all of you guys do, that basically there was allopathic and natural medicine, and that's what man had forever. I mean, that's what we had, was food was your medicine, and, you know, managing stress and being in the sun and you know, having these kind of like getting your hands in the dirt, right? Turns out super important for your gut bacteria. And we lived this one way for a long time. And then at the Industrial Revolution, when everything changed, Rockefeller came in and he used a propaganda campaign and basically totally wiped out and discredited the allopathic medicine. And he made this, what's a brilliant racket, which, by the way, Rich, this is what the PGA does in golf. Basically, he went, well, I've got enough money, enough propaganda, that I'm going to tell everybody that isn't working for me that they're garbage and that what they do doesn't work. And I'm going to make a certification process. And the certification process is basically going to be that you get a stamp of approval that you can be trusted, and the media will get your back, right? I mean, this goes straight into like what's going on. Thank you so much for the gifts, Nicole. This goes straight into like the coronavirus. I have to start using code names like the jab and the masks and all these things, right? It's the same idea of the establishment says, Simon says, you got to do the thing. Well, if you research Rockefeller, the guy was literally a snake oil salesman, right? Thank you, Rich. Those are cool TikTok things. Oh, by the way, did you see the TikTok logo is also a 666 logo? Oh my God, it never ends. It never ends. It's a 666 logo, right? The Google logo, I've got some videos on that I'm going to be doing. It wasn't just Volkswagen, obviously. Anyway, so the guy was a snake oil salesman. He had all this petroleum chemicals. He was trying to figure out what to do with them, just like fluoride is a byproduct of whatever, mining waste or whatever. And he just was like, yeah, I'll sell him oil. Vaseline, Neosporin, whatever, some petrochemical, right? And it'll be good for them. And we'll say it's good for them. And you'll have to be accredited by our thing. And meanwhile, like, they'd wipe out, like, the whole idea of quackery and the whole idea of, like, you know, buying into the Western medicine model comes from this Rockefeller racket, which, and then I'll catch up on the threads here in a second, Rich, you'll find this funny. If you look at the PGA, the Professional Golf Association of America, which I was a PGA golf professional teaching golf lessons, and I hated it because you can't make people better particularly, but because you have PGA certification, people listen to you no matter what, and whatever, that's a whole other conversation. But at the beginning of their constitution, it says there was a guy in New York City, I think his name was like Herbie, and Herbie was like, you see, there's nobody making any money off this golfing thing, you see, so we'll start our own institution, and you'll have to be certified by our group, see, and you'll have to pay us money. And, like, they all had, like, sweaters and stuff, and that's where the PGA was born. Like, this is the shit that people do, like, and people buy it, right? People are like, that's a certified person. He's bona fide. Which is why I've got my certified conspiracy theorist shirt that I want everybody to get, because, like, we can be certified. Like, we're certified now. Anyways, so Rockefeller destroys allopathic and natural medicine, substitutes it with this garbage synthetic vaccine autoimmune, inciting, giving brilliant children Ritalin. Like, I could go on and on and on, right? We get there, but it turns out that it's destroying our gut microbiome, which is, we'll segue into the next part of this about the video that I made. Okay, I'm going to scroll back a little bit and catch up on some of these messages. Let's see here. Tina Wife, yep, Tina Wife, gut. Probiotics are enough. I'm sure I'm going to catch up. It can be. There's a lot of different strains of probiotics. There's a lot of different ways to get gut bacteria, fermented foods, kimchi, kombucha, whatever, what it is. I can't drink it, so I guess my brain's not memorizing it. Something really interesting I might get into later, I might not. But yeah, there's a lot of ways to do it. But from what I understand, the biggest thing is stress. Like, you have garbage, synthetic foods, you were vaccinated to the nines, you fluorinated water, you've got these toxins and all these different things. You've got stress, which is causing a leaky gut. You've got all of these things that are getting the gut biome can't flourish in. It struggles in. It's just getting choked out like a weed, like a beautiful plant in the weeds. And it's a whole thing getting it back together, getting to rebuild your gut biome. And maybe even if your gut biome is good, it's not nearly as good as it was 2,000 years ago, which is the point of the video that I just made. Like, imagine in Jesus' time, people were healthier. I just spilled coffee all over myself. I got all fired up. Toast, cheers. And their gut biome literally was healthier. This is gross, but the article that I show in my video is that I'm assuming anthropologists, some sort of science in the anthropology vein, found fossilized fecal matter, and they looked at it and they're like, wow, much more diverse gut biome, right? And so, like, how we got here is the whole repurposing of God's reality, like the repurposing of the food, genetically modified foods, and the chemicals that are sprayed on the foods, and potentially chemtrails. I'm not huge on that, but maybe pollution, EMF, like, there's so many things. And then we have our substitute version of a health system, which is a really good system for them because it keeps you going back. Like a chiropractor, you have to go to them for help, and they just barely keep you alive. And obviously, it's making some people a lot of money, keeping us sick and poor. And it's really hard to fight when you're sick and poor, right? Okay, let me catch up on these. If you're eating the right things, they're healthy, you don't need a prebiotic. Yeah, I disagree a little bit, Tina. I mean, maybe. Oh, no, it's Gus. Yes, okay. If you're eating the right things, yes, there's a lot of foods in that. Okay, I found it weird how he owned the medical board. Yeah, he owned all, and he's wildly involved in the education establishment, the NSF, and all of these kinds of other accreditations, which is really brilliant if you think about it. Like, somebody yesterday on my live asked me, it was you, Gus, about lambs and why God chose lambs for the sacrifice. And we're like lambs to the slaughter. We're very leadable. And I've said this before, but I managed multiple golf courses and I've had hundreds of employees. And what amazed me is how much the people wanted guidance. And I'm not a managing type. It caused me a lot of stress. I don't want to micromanage people and enforce my authority over them and get them to do my bidding. Like, I wasn't the kid that, I was bullied in high school, but I didn't think one day I'll be the cop and I'll bully everybody. That's just not my personality. And people would come to me and they'd go, how do I do the thing? And I'm like, well, this is how you do it. And like, here's like a range of things. Like, I need to know exactly how to do the thing. And I'm like, fine, do it this way. And I ended up being basically the Illuminati of my golf courses. I made more money than all of them. I needed all of them to do the job. If they were too good, they wanted too much money, they'd have to leave, and they needed to be just like good enough for the amount of money I was paying them. I just spilled coffee again. I gotta set this down instead of hand talking with my coffee. That's not going well. Anyways, it's like, I can see, and this isn't to justify it, but I can see why the Illuminati, the ruling elites, whatever we want to call this group of psychopaths, do what they do. And it's that people want that. Like, we crave that. Like, we need a leader, we need a hero, we need this thing. And then, like, what is it? A person's smart, but people are dumb. And like, I think they think they're the custodians, and they're like, well, I can ruin them. They can be just serviceable enough for me to keep them around like farm animals, and I'll tell them what to do. And like, I see why they do it. And unfortunately, we've played along for like all of humankind, like the whole history of humanity. And I have this hope that, like, with this access to information that we all have now, and being able to, communicate. And look, if we get good at this, you guys, and we really get equipped with this information, there's 11 of us in here, 12 with me. We could be the 12 disciples of breaking people out of the shackles of the Luciferian control that they're in. Like, health, education, religion, the whole thing. Like, hopefully we can crawl out of this. Unfortunately, there's 12 of us here, and there's 350 million people in America. So we're outnumbered. All right, let me catch up. Healthy. This is true, Joe. Have you seen the glasses that come on your face? I'm not sure what that means. Right in our faces. 666 thing. Yeah, the 666 thing with TikTok. I'm sorry, guys, to not catch up. Let me start at the bottom. Come back up. Alien info. Okay, yeah, the alien info. I just skipped a lot of that, guys. If you want me to go back, I will if we have a slow point. So I mentioned that to Rob in our conversation the other day. And the timing, I said that in the conversation. I said, why now? Like, of all of the times for the government to have had this knowledge and, you know, when are they going to get it out? They say now. Like, oh, that's 2021's a good time. We're under a pandemic and we've got the mark of the beast coming and we're going to collapse the economy. And aliens also, right? So there's a couple different ways to look at that. One is that if there is a rapture, I'm going to try not to get too into theology and religion in this one, but if there's a rapture, it would be a way to explain how millions and millions and millions of people disappear. Another one, I think the alien agenda, we talked last night about how the evolution agenda is entirely in opposition to the biblical timeline. Well, the alien agenda, it reinforces the evolutionary agenda, because if there are aliens, they also evolved through whatever neo-Darwinian mechanism that would happen, and they're just like a more advanced version than us, and there's the possibility that they seeded us, right? Panspermia, which makes them our creators and like gods of themselves, and like there's a lot of reasons why the alien agenda right now being pushed out could be done, but to me, it just shouts end times. Like, if I were to have taken what I understand now and in a dream state, like what I've seen the last 2 months, and go talk to 20-year-old me, I'd be like, you're in the end times, dude, for sure. Like, Jesus is coming. So let's see here, because it'll come anyway. They'll be at the forefront. I'm not feeling like liars here. Okay, I want to catch up because I really appreciate Rich's take on this, and I know we disagree, but I want to make sure I'm giving it its due diligence. Why don't you do his hair wild for this live? She doesn't have to do my hair wild for the live. All I got to do is just this. Well, literally just have to it just goes straight up. Like, nobody has to do this. This is the thing that it does. I'm wearing the hood intentionally, because if I don't wear the hood, it's just going to do this. So, whatever. I'm going to put that away for now. It's too much. It's too much of a distraction. What's crazy, or not crazy, what's funny is I want to cut it, because it just, summer hit here overnight the other day, and it went from like nice and cool to like 90 degrees with humidity, and it was just, I have a dog on my head, and it's just terrible. And my son, I need to cut his hair because the black flies are biting his hairline, and he doesn't want to cut his hair unless I cut mine. But I'm like, people are like used to my hair, and if I cut it, that'll be weird. It's like I've created a monster, whatever. Sorry about the hair thing, guys. Let's see here, because it won't come anyways. I don't know. We need to establish one religion too. Yeah, Nebraska. L. Ron Hubbard. Oh, L. Ron Hubbs. That's great. Yeah, the hair things are. You need to go to Seal to watch the Fig Tree Generation. Did you watch CPT and I talked the Fig Tree Generation? We got all that whole thing. It's crazy. Your hair biomes are messed up. Yeah, they're terrible. The black flies are wild, and the mosquitoes, and they're getting in the house. It's like they're biting me at night, which really sucks. That's like next level, terrible bug, whatever. We got indoor bug killers that are coming. Something here I wanted to hit on. L. Ron Hubbard. Gus, anybody in here? Do you guys know about L. Ron Hubbard? L. Ron Hubbard, Aleister Crowley, and Jack Parsons and their relationship? Do you know the names Aleister Crowley and Jack Parsons? That is one of the craziest stories ever, and like absolutely a movie. It's wild. Watch their movie, they explain it well, and see what you guys think. Okay, so basically we all know who Aleister Crowley is, right? The Beast, Ordo Templo Orianus guy. You see him with like the pyramid hat and do what thou wilt. Oh, I need to make a note of that. Maybe you guys can remind me. Chloe, will you remind me? I need to do a video on do what thou wilt and the liberal movement and Aleister Crowley. Anyways, yeah, so they were, this is good for you, Rich. So Aleister Crowley is like the great Satanist of the 21st century. 20th century, which would be the 1900s, 20th century. And he was one of those guys that, like, Lucifer's the good guy, he gets a bad rap, and there's magic in it, and he would, like, torture people sexually and do all these weird things. Yeah, wicked man, exactly. Millions on the edge that will blind. Yep. So Nebraska, that's it. That's the thing with the Ancient Aliens deal. It's just going to be, yeah, I'm going to write it down. I'll remember. Chloe will remind me. So Ancient Aliens, let me go back to the L. Ron Hubbard thing. You're exactly right on Nebraska, in my opinion. So the story is that Aleister Crowley and L. Ron Hubbard and Jack Parsons, L. Ron Hubbard might have come a little bit later in this, but he ran with that crew. They did this sex magic ritual, and they were raping, torturing, this terrible thing. I hope there's no children involved. There better not be. Just in the off chance there are, I won't get into it, but just the most unspeakable things you could possibly imagine that they were doing, with pentagrams on the floor and all the blood and all these terrible things. And doing this ritual, I forget, they had a name for it. There was an explosion in the room. The dudes like flew across the room like Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future. And a being appeared. Lamb was the name, and they drew it, and it was an alien gray. And that was right around the time of Roswell. And it's entirely possible that they opened up a fissure between this reality and the demonic realm, and the aliens came in one after another. The demons, the aliens. It's I didn't get too much into with Robert's thing, but it sets up what he said with Ancient Aliens. Ancient Aliens is made by the History Channel, which is a pyramid on its side, right? If you doubt that, Google it. And the specific film group for the History Channel that makes Ancient Aliens is called Prometheus, right? Prometheus Entertainment. Who knows what Prometheus is? Who Prometheus was? Anybody? Other than the movie Prometheus, where it was revealed at the end of the Alien saga that the creators, this whole alien thing was man's creator, and they were the ones that seeded the earth with the DNA. Right at the beginning, the creator in the Prometheus movie was like, we've got to go find the creators. We know who they are. And he went out to the universe and found them, and the whole alien thing opened back up. Prometheus, Greek lore guy, yes. He was the fire bringer. He brought fire to man, right? Which was good because they needed fire, but it was also dangerous because they all burned themselves, right? It's Lucifer. Let me show you something here. Okay, this ties into Rockefeller, right? I have stuff to tell you so I can make videos that kind of break on. Okay, yeah, we'll talk more for sure. Maybe Percy Jackson. Yeah, I don't know. I remember that's like really heavy stuff. But I'm going to Google something here really fast. Have you guys... So we were talking about Rockefeller, right? And I don't know. Obviously, I believe he was... I believe or know he was a Luciferian. I'm going to look up the Rockefeller Center. And I'm going to look up the golden statue. Okay? If you know this, whatever, you know this. Guess who that is? John, you're here. Guess who that is? That's Prometheus, okay? At the Rockefeller Center. So you got the tower, which is the obelisk, the phallus symbol, right? And at the bottom of the tower is this golden idol, which is Prometheus, which is Lucifer, okay? The light bringer. The light bringer. Luciferian, L-U-C, loose. It's also where they do the tree, the Christmas tree, right? If you want to see real occult stuff, not that you want to see real occult stuff, but cool. Thanks for starting over iPad and Google. So Rockefeller golden statue, and then, this is always good, and I'll do Christmas videos later. Now we're looking at the Atlas statue. I want to like Apple. Okay, hold on a second. Christmas tree. Give me a second as I fuddy-duddy through this. This is about as like dark as you can get. This is going to be big enough. Okay, let me walk you through this picture, okay? There is the tree, which is the penis of Nimrod, which is a whole other conversation. There are the angels, And guess who's at the bottom? Right at the bottom. Prometheus. Okay? At the center, at the bottom of the Rockefeller Center. This is what occult means. If you know the word occult, it means hidden. Okay? These Luciferian bastards worship Lucifer, and they do it in public, and nobody knows. Right? Okay, so we're supposed to talk about gut biome. This one off the rails. It's all good. God is good. Okay, so if I can somehow convince the magic Black Mirror that is the original Sin iPad to look this up, we're going to look up ancient aliens. I'm going somewhere with this. Oh, guys, so bummed. I told you I had a studio thing coming where I could be doing this and share my desktop. And my wife and I spent all this time trying to figure it out. And guess what? Only some creators can do it. And surprisingly, TikTok doesn't give me the ability to do that, which really sucks. Ancient aliens, meme hair. It's good that we're talking about this, right? That fits in. Ancient aliens, Prometheus. Okay? Just to prove to you guys what's going on here with this ancient aliens thing. This is all an answer to that ancient aliens thing we were talking about earlier. Whatever. Now I'm back to zero. I'm wasting everybody's time with this. Okay. If somebody else wants to pull up, they can. I'll see if I can multitask. Basically, Prometheus Entertainment makes ancient aliens. Okay? Which means that it's Luciferian. Prometheus. It doesn't mean that it's that. Prometheus and then ancient aliens. I just really want to show you this just so you don't think I'm making this up. And hopefully this time when I hit go, it'll actually go instead of reverting back to my last thing. Ridley Scott's new movie about Prometheus Entertainment. Kevin Burns is the creator and executive producer of the hit TV series Ancient Aliens. Prometheus Entertainment. I don't know if you can see that, but... Okay. So my point is, Prometheus Entertainment is bringing you, which is basically Lucifer Entertainment. It's just a hidden occult version or symbolic version of Lucifer is bringing you ancient aliens. And it's because they want to create the narrative that the aliens are our creators, okay? And this is something that I couldn't get into really with Robert. I asked him to come onto my channel to have this discussion. I think it could be an interesting discussion anyways, but because if there's aliens and there's us and God of the Bible is real, you got to ask yourself where they come from. Like, how do they fit in the paradigm? Like, where I've heard people say, Jesus says that there in my fold there are many sheep or something, and they like read into that it's aliens. But it would be my opinion, and I think the opinion of the Judeo-Christian worldview, that not literally, but at least metaphorically, the earth is the center of this universe. It starts at man, and then, so earth, man, and then the universe, right? It's not the universe first, and then earth, and then man, right? We were talking yesterday about how backwards evolution is from the biblical narrative and how backwards evolution is from what Jesus taught. Well, the order of events is entirely backwards from what God said. God said, made the earth, made man, made the universe around it. And the material model that we're taught is the universe happened, and then the planets happened, and then life happened, and now here we are. And since it happened here and the universe is huge, it means that of course it happened over there and over there. The odds would be, if this kind of thing happens, the odds would be that it happened elsewhere. And of course, they're more technologically advanced than us. I was just watching Carl Sagan today in 1967 talk about, well, when we do reach out to aliens, of course they're going to be smarter than us. Like, how do you know that? Like, that's a religious belief. Anyways, but then if you look at what their characteristics, they come at night. They do sexual things. There's hybridizations, right? We've seen all of this before. It's unwanted. They listen to the name of Jesus. There's all these things. But instead of that being the case, like, oh, those are demons and like nuts and bolts technology, we're like, oh, they're aliens. And not only are they aliens, they're the gods responsible for creating all of these things before the flood, and they're also the creator. They created man. And they're our saviors, right? Like, it fits in with the worldview. I don't know. I haven't met one, haven't shook their hands, haven't casted them out in the name of Jesus personally. So I don't know. But that's my head. So anyways, that's why the ancient aliens thing. Is that my answer to that question? The big lie. Yeah, it's a big one. Okay. I know you do, Rich. A lot of that was directed towards you, and we can just have a phone call conversation about this. And the truth is, like Kai and I always say, I don't know. I don't know. I believe, right? And the evidence that I have is persuasive. Like, I would argue that if we were having like a court trial about it and I presented my evidence, you know, the jury might err in my favor, other than like, oh, I've got a friend who saw this and the Palladians and blah, 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 like eyewitness accounts. Like, I've got like corroborative stories and historicity and stuff. So anyways, that's my worldview. Could be wrong. I don't think they're good guys. And I think that if they show up and they say they're the good guys, you got to be careful. My mom used to say in the movie, whenever the guy said, I'm here to help you, I'm your friend, always be leery of that guy. I don't think they're our friends. So, know anything about the origins of AHA and its ties with Crisco? So Procter & Gamble, Arm & Hammer? Is that Arm & Hammer, right? Arm & Hammer Association, maybe? I don't know. We'll have to get into that more later. But that's actually good. If that's what it is, we'll go into it a little bit. Here would be my take with that, okay? These big companies. I'm talking about Arm & Hammers. Oh, American Heart Health. So, okay, yeah, I'm sure, dude. There's always that. There's always that symbiosis, right? The reciprocity of the people that make the thing that make you sick, and then the people that treat the thing that you're sick by. Like Bayer did it. Like, dude, the big one. And I'm gonna make a video on this. Google Julie Gerberding. Just don't Google it and then make a video before I can, because that's one of the videos that I have queued up to make. She set up the vaccine schedule, and then with the CDC, she set it up and took it from like 18 vaccines to 52 or whatever, and then she left the CDC, and now she's the head of the vaccine sales department or whatever for Merck. It's easy when you follow the money, we know that. But so, anyways, my take with those big people is you don't get to the top of Arm & Hammer but organically. You know, if you have potential, if you're someone who's a real mover and shaker and you're dynamic, and you know your aspirations are to be whatever, the CEO of a company or a senator or whatever, you are going to be invited to this meeting, whether it's Freemasonic or, you know, Skull and Crossbones, or in Hollywood there's all these sex parties, and they go like this. I intended to do this later, but this is where this went, so suffer this with me. We're going to call it a Hollywood warehouse party because they happen. I haven't been there. I hear they happen. You know, who's that really Afro-y headed kind of Jewish Afro guy like what I have that died recently, similar age to. He kind of looked like Sideshow Bob. I forget his name. But he revealed this thing. He went in and told him exactly what happened. And I had been saying this from well before that had happened. So I'm not getting information from him. I mean, there's Feldman and Haim talked about it, and, you know, Seth Green, and like multiple people talked about this. But basically, this is how it worked, okay? You're Cappy, thank you. Yep. It's worth trying to infiltrate the scheme. And no, you can't infiltrate it. Not going to happen. All you can do is manage yourself. In the Bible, God, Jesus, they were trying to get Jesus to beat the plowshares into weapons, and he said, you don't fight this like that. You know, all you got to worry about is managing your house. You know, it says, my people die for lack of wisdom. It doesn't say my people die for lack of a willingness to fight and die in the battlefield against the Lucifer. I mean, this isn't a new thing, right? When Jesus was on the earth, Satan took him up to a high place and said, you see all this? I run this. And if you want to run it, get down on your knees and serve me. And he said, really? Get out of here. You know, that Jay-Z thing. Jay-Z is a Rockefeller prodigy or Rockefeller disciple. Who's going to run this town? Dude, listen to this. Nicole, you're going to like this. The Jay-Z video I want to do a video about this, that totally predicted the Black Lives Matter social riots this last summer. It's who's going to run this town tonight. Right? And it's them in the streets, hear them, violence in the air, something like this whole thing. And Rihanna, you know, has the torch, and it's like the super Illuminati stuff. The guy starts off by saying, we are. Yes, I said it. We are. This is Rock Nation. Pledge your allegiance. Okay? Let's break this down. This is Rock Nation. Rockefeller, right? He's always doing the Rocka thing. Rockefeller. Always rapping about it. This is Rock Nation, pledge your allegiance. He says, we are. What's God's name? I am. And I say that with it's hard for me to even say that, right? It's hard for me to even say that. God is, when he said, what's the name? He says, I am. Yeah, I am that I am. So Jay-Z says, we are. And he confirms it. Yeah, I said it. We are. This is Rock Nation. Pledge your allegiance, right? Rockefeller Center. I mean, this stuff's all tied in together. What was he saying about Rockefeller and We Are and the Black Lives Matter and that whole thing? Fighting it. Like, you're not going to rise up and fight this thing. It is obvious. It's really, I will. I wish I could show you guys. My list of videos that I want to make for TikTok is like 14 pages now, and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of ideas. And I'm so ADD, and I'm trying to build the studio and do this other thing, and then I get banned and stupid. But yeah, I'll get down that. But so Jesus was tempted by them. He wasn't going to do it. This group isn't going anywhere. They're going to build a new world order. They're building the political, economic, entertainment engine for the Antichrist to ride in on. And that happens. We've read the book. We know what happens. They're not going to... Nowhere does it say to stop them. It's not our job, is to stop them. That's why one of the reasons why I kind of split off of the Alex Jones thing. When I was like following Alex Jones when he was really first came out, and it was hard to get this information anywhere else really before YouTube and stuff. But he was always talking about politically we were going to vote this out, and we were going to beat this thing, get in your local office and get fluoride out of the water. That's fine. Like, if you want to do local things, that's fine. But I can tell you this: if you ever make any real progress, if you ever threaten their system, you think they took Cappy out? Like, so now you die for the thing, right? And where did that get you? Net of zero. So what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to be managing our house, right? As for me and my house, we serve God. That's the answer, Gus. You don't have to worry about beating the bad guys. We're not supposed to beat Satan. That's not our job. It's not our thing. And it's hard enough, like I keep saying with the simulation thing, with all this, it's hard enough trying to not steal at work and cheat on your wife and be a nice person and tithe and take a day off and shit. Like, it's hard enough to do that. And I'm not saying specifically like I have those issues. I would never cheat on my wife, God willing, and I don't have a job currently, so I'm not stealing from them. I'm just saying, like, whatever the thing is that's your problem that you're struggling with is hard enough that you don't have to go beat Jay-Z. It's you just manage it's fractal. And Nicole said it a few days ago. We have the temple. Like, we're managing our body, which is the temple. And I have this idea. Look at how this works. You've got like the church, the body, right? And you're supposed to be at a church. And like the pastor is managing the church and like making sure the walls don't have mold and the pews are clean. It's really hard to manage his church. And he like tries to manage all the people and all stuff. That's like a really hard thing to do. And then he has to go home and he has to manage his own house, like his own actual house. Like, make sure there's no mold on the walls, make sure electricity works, and there's pellets in the pellet stove or whatever, right? And that's a whole thing. And his kids, and then he's got to manage his own house. Like, we actually have our own house too that we have to manage, right? Like, take care of your body and like, give it the right foods and stuff and try and manage your stress, which goes back to the gut biome thing. And that's hard enough. Like, it's hard enough for me to manage my own body, for me to go and beat the New World Order. And I don't think we need to. That'll be God's business. You just got to manage your relationship with God and manage your own house. Let me see. If I have my house in order, can I at least make TikToks? Yeah. Yes, please do. Yes. I did, Rich. It's unbelievable. Yeah, that's it. Manage, like, let's get as many, like, let's imagine we're on the Titanic and it's going down. And let's get as many people on the life raft as we can. Like, that's it. That's all we can do. We can't. It's already hit the iceberg. It's going down. We can't stop that. We just want to get as many people as we know and love, and as many of God's children on the boats as we can. And this is no surprise. Like, it's what was prophesied to happen, and it's beautiful. It's a love story. It's hard. It's going to be really hard. I really hope that we don't have to suffer terrible things. That's why I hope there's a rapture and it's the beginning. That'd be great. But, this is finite. And no matter how much suffering we have to endure, that will end. And then we're going to be in a better situation. Let's see here. If I have a house, let's see here. Rose was a Luciferian. There was room for 2 on that door. That's good. I'm not sure Rose is a real person, but that's good. Dang Luciferians. They're always ruining everything. We need a jack. All right, so this all started, the idea was talking about gut biome. I'm going to try and get back to that. We got into the New World Order stuff, which is important. Thank you again, Nicole, for those gifts, you guys. Thank you very much for those. Having dealt with it, dealing with it, my brother knows, my wife knows. I almost want to stick around to see it almost. Well, you might be in luck. I mean, that was a discussion that Carissa and we all had the other day. A1Z is a pre-trib guy. I'm post, but I'm a hopeful pre, right? That's a good place to be. It'd be great. It'd be great if we could avoid the whole thing. But yeah, the judgment part of it is going to be pretty cool. God is worthy. And, if you look at how we voted him off the island and how we've just ruined, I don't think we specifically, but humankind have just, we refuse to let him be a part of it, and we destroy his creation. Right down to the electron. These maniacs are trying to destroy it at the subatomic particle level. It's not enough to destroy God's Bible and teaching people about God, and then the family, and, reassigning gender, and, breaking apart marriage and natural childbirth and what grows out of the ground. And everything, everything that God made that was good, they're out to destroy, but they're trying to create black holes and shit. They're they're maniacs, absolute maniacs. Let's see here. I'd like to hear more on that one. Okay, let's go back here. Nebraska, you said you'd like to hear more on that when you have time. About the rapture part, hopefully not. We showed the other day that I'm not a full scholar on that. Our gut biome craves what we feed it. So if we only feed it good things, we won't crave shitty food. Or shifty food. I like shifty better. I should start using that word. I think it's probably shitty. But yeah, the gut biome's complicated. God atom. Yeah, the God particle, it turns out that the reason they called it the God particle, they didn't think that it had anything to do with God. They weren't honoring God. It's because they were using GD, and they were saying that God particle, and that it got shortened to God particle, because everything they do is that. You read the Gospel of Luke today, and then you saw this tonight with Luke. Good. Yeah, Luke is good. Luke is a doctor, and I love his take on it for sure. All flesh was corrupted. Awesome. Yeah, it's great you read that. Post-rapture, why you think? Yeah, so I'm going to have to do one on that. I want to be really clear here, and I want to be really careful to not hurt anybody's feelings, but there are people that are really called into being a scholar of the Bible and really being anointed and teaching from the Bible, and I do okay with it, but guys like CPT, honestly, Nicole is probably more well versed. I know that A1Z is. I don't want to cop out and just say that it's not my calling, but my reading comprehension hasn't always been great. It's been kind of a really hard way for me to get information into my brain, and so I've read through it. I've read through it multiple times. I've listened to it almost every night, and I believe every word of it. But as far as justification for the post-trib, I'm going to have to do some research on it, because the bits the way that my brain works as an ENTP is I grab all of these disparate ideas and pieces of information from all sources, and I bring them together, I aggregate them into my worldview, and then defend that point. It's just what an ENTP does. So that's my path of least resistance. There are people whose Myers-Briggs is I break down words, and you can look at the etymology and the grammar, and I find all the hidden, and that's just it's just not really my strength, but it's part intuition that tells me that, It's part, having just always had these dreams about Revelation. And you know what it possibly is that you guys make it in the rapture and I don't, God forbid, but I'm not perfect. I'm not sure what the qualifications are going to be. I'm hoping I'm right that day, but maybe that's what it is. Maybe you guys are right and you're going to go up in the pre-trib and I'm going to be left here because I'm a terrible person. And, we're both right. I hope not. Yes, please. Please share the passage. Absolutely. Yeah. Nicole, I was actually thinking, do you have enough followers? You don't to do a live. We can only do 2 people anyways, but I'd like to get away, like almost like a symposium, right, with multiple speakers. That would be a really cool way to do it, including A1Z, because he's like I said, he's my brother, and he's older than me, and he's been studying the Bible for 35 years, and he's got some really profound takes on it. Some of the material that I've used, Bill Gates and Build to Conquer, which is the video I'm going to do, the toxin and the bow thing, all this stuff is my brother's research in there. So, he's a pre-trib guy, and he's got scriptures to back it up, and him and Carissa were talking about some things, and it's, again, yeah, I'm actually going to stop talking about it because it would be more of me putting it all together. So you're an INTP. That's great, Nebraska. So you and I are the same. I'm just the more extrovert version, right? And that's not a surprise that I'm on this side and you're on that side, but it means our brains work really similar. Sorry I'm late. My mind got me astray. I hear that, BNA. We're close to the end, unfortunately, but yeah. Mob mentality. Why you stop talking about it? What is his handle? Your brother. He's A10. Yeah, and I'll read that. I'm pulling it up right now. Nebraska. He's A10 on here, which was our clothing company. All right, so it's Luke 23 through 26. All right, look at that. A lot easier than last time I was trying to find something. 23 through 26. So I'll start at 20. Oh, yeah, I know exactly where this is going already. Let me just point out, I'm a really fast reader. I can grab like 4 paragraphs and almost absorb it immediately. But I do it, I skim the information to get the point and not necessarily dive into each line. So that's what I was saying about reading comprehension. So I read that quickly. I know what it is, and I'm excited to get back into it. So I just want to be clear, it's not that I can't read. I can read, I just don't love it. And a lot of it for me is my OCD. I don't say my OCD like I own it, but what would be obsessive compulsive disorder. And I get really neurotic about it, and I see the end of the page, and I want to read it faster and faster and faster, and I start timing it, and it's just like this torturous thing. So anyways, here we go. Praise God. Thank you, Lord, for your word. Pilate, therefore, willing to release. This is so hard for me to even read. Reminds me of what we saw with the presidency here, and it's so hard that this is what man did. And you're dead on, Nebraska. All right, so here we go. Pilate, therefore, willing to release Jesus. Okay? Let's think about that. The guy who was the governmental representation that the Jewish people, the Jewish Sanhedrin, turned Jesus over to because they didn't have authority, right? The Jews were under the authority of the Romans, so they couldn't necessarily they had to go through their legal system. So they go and they get Pilate, and they go, Pilate, look at how guilty this guy is. Look at what he's doing. He's running around here telling everybody he's God. You can't say that. He's healing people on Sabbath. He's a maniac. You got it. And Pontius Pilate tries him. He's like, all right. Pilate, therefore, willing to release Jesus. I'm not there, bro. I don't think he's the problem. Spake again to them. But they cried. Saying, crucify him. Crucify him. So can you imagine this? This guy, this man, and anyone who's had any version of a Christophany, felt his presence, seen his face, felt the love. He wasn't a man, the sweetest Lamb of God, right? And they want him dead. And they won't accept any other answer. They will not accept anything short of nailing him to a cross. So Pilate's like, no, it's cool. He's cool. He didn't kill anybody. He anti-killed somebody. Think about that. Somebody was dead, and he brought him back to life. And they're trying to kill this guy. And Pilate's like, no, he anti-killed Lazarus. Let's let him go. And they cried, crucify him. And Pilate said unto them the third time, why? What evil has he done? What has he done? I have found no cause of death. I've found nothing that he's done that's worthy of us killing him. Okay? So I'm going to beat him up a little bit. I'm going to whip him. Bad boy, you're a bad guy, Jesus. And then let him go, right? And they were insistent with a loud voice, requiring that he might be crucified. And the voices of them and of the chiefs and the chief priests prevailed. And Pilate did that. And this is where he washed the hands, right? He washed his hands of this. You've heard that saying, I wash my hands of this. He went, you guys are maniacs. You're going to kill an innocent man, potentially a son of God. And I don't want anything to do with this. And he washed his hands. He goes, you guys do what you got to do. I'm outnumbered here. So thank you, Nebraska, for that. That is mob mentality. And that's the problem with a true democracy, right? That's why this place is a republic. Because mob rule, it's easy to work people up in a frenzy if you have control of the information. And, getting a bunch of people to agree to do something doesn't make it right. So I'm glad you said that, Nebraska, and right on. That's a good scripture for tonight. Oh, that was you, Gus? I keep giving Nebraska. Sorry, I don't know why I get that. Sorry. Maybe if I could get Nebraska's real name, I would stop confusing the two of you. Gus, nice work. And Nebraska, study your Bible, because Gus just got one up on you with that. He nailed one. Yeah, no, Gus, that's a good one. And it's fitting. I mean, that's the thing about the Bible. Like, that's not the thing. There's a lot. Hey, Ray. I shouldn't have asked. I'm going to forget that. I'm going to try and remember that. All right. Ray and Gus. Like the new Ghostbusters. The Bible is somehow this document that is happening. I've said it before, but I can't stress it enough. I don't understand it. I believe it with, my theory on the Bible code and the operating system. This is borderline proof that the Bible, the writer of the Bible, is outside of time and space. This is the Bible Code 3. I haven't read any of this, but this perfect symmetrical line right here, and then these, see, space, 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 and then these ones, it reads, Obama is president, Obama president. And this was like, 2004 or something, 2008, whatever. So it's just, the Bible is updating in real time. It's like a ticker tape. And it happened. It was responsible for this happening at the source. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and everything that was made by the Word. And then it tells this amazing story where people had free will, but they still played it out. And then it prophesied what was going to happen in the future, and then it's responsible for what is happening now. And yeah, the mob rule thing, Gus, is, if you look at what's happened in this country, and I plan to get into this, but you've got, it's amazing how the creation is fully binary code. Yeah. Nebraska, have you heard about my operating system thing? You be there on Thursday if you can. Oh, I'll plug this in case you guys aren't here the next couple nights. I hope you are, but Thursday night in the Matrix with Kai Vibrations, who's great. He's not a believer, but he's not a believer, and I believe God's working with him. And we're going over the simulation and the theory that I have about the Torah being the operating system, the source code for this reality, and it very much deals with ones and zeros, and just the idea that this is an information-based reality. But yes, that was a great scripture, and it very much fits in with what has happened with this whole social justice, vaccine, whatever this mess of the last year has been. My hair was normal before this year, you guys. Normal short hair guy. Right, let's see here. You're a computer geek by trade. Okay. So do me a favor if you have time. I get into ASCII. I get into, computer science a little bit. And I've got this idea that the Torah creates this reality. It's a source code in a simulation. I don't know if you believe we're in a simulation or not, but if we are, it's just a theory that I have and I haven't been able to talk about. But if you go into my bio, click on the guy with the backwards hat, and then click on my link tree, and then go to YouTube. And then if you go through my YouTube, you can go down and look for the operating system. It's got like 1,100 views. It was made in 2018, 2019 maybe. I don't know. Connor McLeod. I don't know what year it is. But if you go and watch it, it's an hour. I will disclaim a couple things. It's an hour and 20 minutes long, which was my first piece of content I ever made, and it was an ambitious undertaking, but I needed that to get the point made. The first 35, 40 minutes is, like 30 minutes is a little bit so-so. I was just clipping YouTube videos, which these people saw the other day. The guy that made the glitch in the Matrix watched my video and took all my clips, it looks like, and made his video around it. Anyways, whatever. I explained that we're in a video game, potentially, the science behind it, the theoretical physics, the astrophysics, the quantum physics, all those kinds of things. And then I get into this idea that the Kabbalist Jews have been teaching that the Hebrew language is a code, which is another video I'm going to do, by the way. If you remember the scene from Pi where man and woman, the total sum numbers of man and woman is the same sum of the word child, which is just beautiful in a beautiful language and exists alpha in an alphanumeric manner. Anyways, it makes this reality, potentially the Torah does, and I get into it, and I think you'd like it. So if you have an hour and 20 minutes, I don't want you to feel obligated. It's really cool, really cool. I'm the filmmaker. It's really good. And the filmmaker's really good. Whatever. It's good. I love it. I've watched it a couple times since, and I think it's good enough that hopefully we can make a goal of mine, speaking of manifesting. I want to make the operating system. How about this? I'm going to make the operating system. That's for you, Rich, and for me, and for my future. I'm going to make the operating system in a full production, professional production, where I get to interview the rabbis that do the Bible codes and the quantum physicists and make the same cogent point, but actually face to face with the people, and it's going to be amazing. So yeah, manifesting is big. That's why you got to be careful with what you say with your mouth, because it has a property, a property of efficacy in this reality, which is why God says not to curse anyone. Thank you, Nicole. Don't curse, because you could curse someone's field and it might curse. That's what Jesus did with the fig tree. If Chris is here, that has to do with Israel, and he cursed Israel and it went away and it came back. And when you see the tree come back, we're at the end times. Side note, it's because we're made in God's image. He's the creator. We are in his image. We aren't the creator, but we have creator privileges on a small level. And it's because the algorithm of the universe, potentially, is designed to react based on what we believe, which is where quantum physics and the double slit experiment come in, which is what we're talking about on Thursdays. So Thursday night, you come in, we're going to talk about it. I'm a simulation guy, I'm a manifest guy, but all in context of God, the creator. He's the creator. We're made in his image. And we got to be careful with what we say and do, because it has an effect on this reality. Yes, our words are powerful and it's energy. Yep. Yep. And how about this, Nicole? How about forgiving someone, right? Like Jesus is like, I forgive you. You got to forgive your neighbor. Forgive the people. They're like, I don't want to forgive them. I want to be mad at them. And it just destroys you from the inside, and maybe them. And you forgive them and you release both of them, and there can be healing and stuff. So yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, cool, Nicole. That's awesome. And just so you guys know, that's at 8 o'clock. We're budgeting 2 hours because it's not just me. It's him too, and he's bright. And I'm really going to try to let him talk more. Chloe's really trying to mentor me on that. I overspeak him the whole time, and I don't. He's great. It's stupid that I do that. Yeah, simulation guy. Nicole, just out of curiosity, I saw you subscribe on YouTube. Thank you. Did you watch the operating system yet? Not in like a, did you do your homework? Just curious your thoughts if you did watch it. If you feel like I'm at all hit the mark with it. And if you haven't watched it, then you should stop this and go watch it. Just kidding. Forgive with our words, but all with our heart. Yeah, hearts. Well, it's all about the heart, right? Like the oh, thank you. Again, guys, if you watch it, I was kidding about leaving this and going to do that, but if you watch it, just understand that, like, I was really figuring it out at the beginning, and, like, I don't want to speak ill of it. I like it, but the first 20, 30 minutes, I wrote almost all of the music, so that's cool. Like, it's cool synth music, so if you like the music, I wrote most of it. But it's a little bit rough. There's a weird vocal effect on it, and it's just like if you weren't, buying in, like, if you didn't want to watch it because you know what I'm talking about and you want to get to the end, you might not be able to get to that first 30 minutes. And to me, it just gains momentum. And what happens is, like, at about 40 minutes, it starts to turn from, like, other people's ideas and me explaining the simulation into this theory that I believe God gave me. And the last half of it, the last 30 minutes, I think is really powerful and really represents God as the programmer in a really, I think, in an ambiguous but pointed way. I have not read that, and I'm super interested. Or you have enough people to go live? You do have. Yes, obviously. I didn't realize how many followers you had. Congratulations. TikTok must like you more than they like me. They hate me, so that's cool. Or you're just better at this, whatever. I don't know what it is, but that's awesome. And I would like to read this and hear about it. What we should do is a live, potentially, where you tell me about it, because I have, if you watched my videos, my first video series I made here on TikTok was about the double slit, and I just give kind of a rudimentary interpretation of it, but I don't think you can reconcile it with philosophical materialism, secular humanism, with what we were taught about this reality, and I think that it's anybody's best guess what it actually means, but to me it's about, reality being rendered just outside of the view of the users. Like, a video game doesn't make the entire universe all at the same time. The game universe, the game world, it exists as a potentiality in the programming and in the interaction of the user with the game board. It renders it just outside of the user's view, and therefore it looks like they're in a seamless real world universe, but really they're just in a thing that's just bigger than the viewer. So that's my take on the double slit. That was, your favorite. That's cool, and also really insulting. It's rich. It's cool. I'll try and catch up with that first one. It's good. I like that one. I wanted to start. It changes it as you move through. Yeah, exactly. It was really hard about the TikTok start because I'd already had the YouTube thing. I already knew what I wanted to do, and it's like, do I just get on and start making videos? And I wanted to start with episode 1, and I had this idea of, like, taking a sequential journey through what I went through as someone who believed in God and then was really mad at God and, like, bailed on the idea, and then science brought me back to it and the idea that I can't deny that we're in a designed order, and I wanted to go through it from, like, the smallest, that's why I started with the quantum particle, to the macro. I want to get into, like, how Jupiter needed to be there, because if Jupiter wasn't there, then we would have been wiped out by meteors, and what the moon is doing, and the sun, is a bottomless pit that burns forever, and that it's a life. Like, I wanted to get into the whole thing, big to little to big, and that was the idea, starting with that. And then, whatever, I got into the Mars thing, and I just kind of went ADD, and I lost my way as far as, like, having a direction. So, I'm glad you liked that video, though. And did you see... There's a guy that just started following me. His name is See Something. That doesn't give you enough information. Anyways, I was on TikTok, and the video starts with, everything you know is wrong, because you were taught that the world is this, and you were taught that the sky was blue because of this, and it's because of the and it was like word for word what I had said, almost. And I tagged him in the video, and he watched it and followed me immediately. He's like, and he made the video after me. I hadn't seen the video. Same thing that Nicole and I have been talking about, and John and I talked about today, is this, like, information, these, like, pulses of information that are going out and multiple people are picking up on. It's really bizarre. Like, I know nobody's taking for the most part, I don't think anybody's taking the ideas, or I'm not taking anybody else's ideas, although I do think that every artist is a cannibal and every poet is a thief, so there is some of that. But I think that more than us taking each other's ideas, and even if we do take the idea, it's like that resonates so thoroughly. It's like, oh, I was just about to have that idea, or I did have that idea, but you quantified it. So there's something going on. There's like, I'm hoping that there's some sort of, I don't want to get like, the density and the awakening thing, but Aquarius, whatever. But there might be some truth to that. Like, even if they're demons, they know, they have some inner information on what's going on. And so, we might be going into Aquarius, and there might be an information. It might be the quickening, right? With the Highlander at the end of times. Thank you for saying that, Rich. I appreciate that. Let's see. It's like an open world game. Exactly. I call it a fully immersive free will simulation. The idea being that, whether it's analog or digital, it doesn't matter. I mean, it would be just as impressive if God made this with time, space, and matter in this universe, or if he made a reality where this was as real as it is through our sensory perception. Whatever way, God is amazing and great, and it's an amazing creation. But, this reality, like, can you imagine that instead of the universe happening accidentally, and then it being we're an accident also, and then death caused the life that we had, like that version that we were taught, how polar opposite, the juxtaposition between that and the idea that it's made around consciousness of man. And if it's made around consciousness of man, you got to ask, like, why, right? Why? What? We didn't create ourselves. That doesn't make any sense, right? Man, oh, here I am. Oh, make the universe go around me. That doesn't make any sense. It's like there's a God. Who is the programmer? That's what I say in the operating system. Who is the programmer? Where's the computer? And, if it's just some sort of hyper intellect with unlimited resources that made all this and then died or walked away or whatever, then it's fine. Whatever. We just happen to get lucky that we have this reality. But if this was intended, which is what I believe it is, and it fits exactly in line with the Judeo-Christian paradigm, which is God puts you here, you get X amount of time, that God, there's all these times in the Bible where he's really happy with certain individuals, sinning individuals, David, Abraham, Enoch, I assume sinned, I don't know, but there's these certain guys that had a heart for God. I don't know what that means. At best I can figure, it's like, you've got a buddy you really like, and you're like, you'll drop everything to go help that guy. Maybe you have a heart for the guy, whatever. But what if God is just interested in having people like that around him eternally? And he did this whole thing so he could surround himself with people that are, good-hearted, interested in the Creator. And I love the idea that hell is a threat, and maybe it's temporary, maybe it doesn't happen or whatever. I mean, Jesus says, in the end, I will attract all men to me. So hopefully, if you're created by God, you don't have to be in hell. I don't know. I wouldn't play with that fire. It's really, it'd be dangerous. But, what if it's just like, you just cease to exist and you get to spend eternity with God because you're an asshole on this earth? And like, maybe that's what it is. There's people that, like, I can think of a list of people, if I had a golf course for a day, the people I would call, and I'd want them to be there to be with me playing golf. And, we're made in God's image, right? We have similar feelings to God. So I don't think it would be that big of a surprise to that. And then the irony, the beautiful serendipitous coincidence of all of this is that the metrics by which we're judged are a set of rules that if we follow are for our good. Imagine that, right? Like, you can prove that you follow me and that you love me if you keep these things, these rules. All right, I won't steal and lie and kill and whatever, and I'll rest and I'll do these things. God's like, good job. You listened to me and it was good for you. And I love you and let's go. Right? catch up on these messages, and then we'll get after. Thank you. Thank you, Chloe, for that. And thank you, Nicole. It's definitely digital mixed with analog. I don't know if you can say it's definitely anything, but it appears to be, yeah. Not to be critical. I mean, that was semantics. I'm picking nits, and I apologize. But yeah, Nebraska, I would guess it's neither. Something else, some other technology, right? Like, we're carbon-based, and there's light-based beings potentially, like digital. And I think that the science of a binary system, of a computer code, of building an algorithm that once you create it is self-managing and error-correcting and things like that, I think it makes sense. And then, space and time is just relative. Like, the universe is huge to us, but you've seen a thing where you expand way out, and it's like, wow, the galaxy is just a cell. It looks like a cell. Maybe it's God's cell, or it's an eye, or like, it's just all of it's illusory, anyways. Especially with the with quantum. Thank you, Chloe. That's nice. We crawled out of the water. Not. Tell me, Rich, that you said we crawled out of the water. Not. Please tell me that's what you said, because that's what I see there, and that's hilarious. Nuke, you ever look deeper into how... Dude, can I tell you a quick story about Nuke really fast? Where that name comes from? My name's... the alias that I assumed when my family moved up to the mountains, and I was the only Mexican in the mountains. I was a Lucero, and they'd never seen a Hispanic up there. And I was discriminated against, like, legitimately. Even though I don't look Hispanic necessarily. I had a little bit darker skin, whatever. And at that time, my eyes were brown, which is really weird. God changed them green, so my wife would have never married me if they were brown. But so I had brown eyes. I was a Lucero, and I was in this mountain community surrounded by white people. And so I took my mother's maiden name, which was Buckley, and I just started saying my name was Luke Buckley. And it was like long enough ago that it didn't matter. It was like, fine, cool, you can be Luke Buckley. And I was never legally that name. So Luke Buckley's my name. We used to go to Dave & Buster's. No, yeah, whatever, Dave & Buster's. And because they used to have a golf simulator, and in Colorado in the winter you can't play golf. And so they said, "What's your name?" And I said, "Luke Buckley." And they said, "Okay." And then they went over the loudspeaker and they go, "The golf simulator's open for the Nuke Beckley foursome. Nuke Beckley." And we still laugh about it. It's like the funniest thing in the world. So my name, the name Nuke Beckley, is a play off of the alias, which is also not my name. So you calling me Nuke is funny. I like it. Nuke in the flood. That's what I do when I do a show with Rich. You ever look deeper into how God breathed life in the nostrils of man? I have not, Gus. But that makes sense, because like nose breathing is important, right? That's like where you're going with that, I assume. Like, you want to breathe through your nose, which, even though I've got this big honking beauty, I've got a deviated septum, which I'm sure you can see, and I can barely breathe out of my nose. So I can't breathe out of my nose, which could be part of my health issues. Ego, then, yeah, definitely should go through the mouth. I'm just curious to roll the nonverbal. Oh. Okay. Oh, cool. Prolonged talking is bad. There's that, too. I'll play. Yeah, you'll be there, Rich. Maybe it's because you knew we would sin with our mouths. Maybe. That's brilliant. That's a brilliant point, Nebraska. It's really good. God has tech that we can't even fathom. Yeah, I mean, it's us on this limited scale with limited intellects, with limited sensory ability, trying to describe, like, that's one of the things I can't stand about the Neil deGrasse Tysons and the Richard Dawkins and the Carl Sagans and the Michio Kakos and the Bill Nyes, if I didn't say that name yet. Them just saying empirically. If I had time, one of these nights I'll show you this YouTube video that I found of Neil deGrasse Tyson ripping religion for having believed how we got here, and then him talking about quasars and deuterium and all these things, and like matter of fact, and X amount of 100 millions and billions of years ago, and like just it's the most insane drizzle ever, and he's saying it empirically, like, and he goes, now we don't have to worry about religion because we have science, and he just goes on this total bullshit version, like, how in the hell from the Earth with fucking telescopes did you figure that out, Neil? "22 binary system." That's great. Yeah, that's how many letters in the Hebrew alphabet. Ooh, Smithsonian teaches the little ones evolved from rodents. Yeah, the Smithsonian teaches a bunch of nonsense. It's a lot easier to control the information if you control all fields. Nuke in the Flood, great show. See, loving the show. It's playing throughout the house. That's awesome. All right, Tina, thank you for being here as well. That's always my goal. My secret goal is to get Tina in. She's like, I don't want to listen to that guy. If I can get her in, I know I did it. Anyways, I'm going to go, you guys. It's almost 10:20. Those in the know what that means. It's bedtime. We used to have a house named 1020, addressed 1020. That was an A10 joke. Love you guys. I'm going for tonight. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about tomorrow. We usually figure it out right before. I'm gonna try and make a video tomorrow and then talk about it tomorrow night. So hopefully I'll post a video around 7 my time and then come on at 8. So that's the goal. No, 7:30 my time, and then come on at 9. So that'll be tomorrow. And then remember Thursday, 8 o'clock with Kai. Should be a good discussion about the simulation. So see you Thursday, God willing. Yeah, and Gus, if you want to come, tomorrow. Hey guys, I don't want to be like a couple things. Yeah, I'm gonna make another video. I'm free. I don't know what happened. Some miracle. I actually have other videos in queue, so I'm gonna make videos. I'm gonna get them out. I've got to get these out. I see CPT, and we have different callings, but he'll make like 7 videos a day, and it's just him like having an idea, and I set up my lighting, and I find the music, and I like overproduce it, and nobody cares or whatever. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna try and keep it higher production value, but I want to just try and shotgun videos out of there just for the algorithm, man. I want to get. Not because I'm some sort of. I don't want celebrity. I'm not interested in being famous. I just need eyeballs on this. I need eyeballs on this because that's what the point of this is. I need eyeballs on this because if we have a big enough army of people, maybe, if we have 100,000 followers, maybe 1 out of every 20 people can give me $1 a month and we'll have enough money for my family to be able to do this. That's the goal. So, yeah, I'm a perfectionist and it's debilitating, honestly. What was I going to say, though? Oh, you guys. No, he's not. No, I'm a messy. My wife's always going to give the dirt. So I'm something. I would like you to really elaborate on that because I waste way too much time trying to make something perfect that I can't. That's probably what she means by that. Yeah, that'd be great, Nebraska. Any way you can help. Again, I just, I understand it's a parabolic thing. We need to get there. But I wanted to talk to you guys. You're my core people. I love you and I appreciate you being here. I'm coming on. My goal is to come on 6 nights a week at the same time. It's the thing that's on my heart. I don't want you to feel obligated. I want you to be here, please. I love it when you're here. But if you're not here, I'm not going to be upset with you. So be here if you're feeling it and if God leads you to and impart, please. I appreciate it. But don't feel obligated, right? I don't want, just because I'm coming on, it's not to try and make you guys come in and do this. I want you to be here if you can, but just know that if I'm on tomorrow and you don't want to do it, it'll be fine. But you got to be on the day after that. Yeah, no, we're going to do that. Gus, let me look here real fast. Yeah, we talked about that the first time you and I met. So here's my plan. This is for you, Nebraska, Gus, Nicole, Rich. I want to do. Thank you for the roses, my sweet Rich. So yeah, 6 is right. No, I wouldn't do that. So my plan is 6 nights a week, right? So I want to do 3 nights solo like this and 3 nights with guests. So 1 is spoken for with Kai. We plan to do that every Thursday. We want to really try and build a following and get people outside of both of our circles in. So that's the goal. If you can help us push that. So that'll be Thursday. So at least 2 nights a week. And I'd like to do something like a health night. And, like if a CPT can come on or, it doesn't matter if it's Gus for the health night, Warrior Monk, Rich coming on, we can do that. I want to be careful to not necessarily have to be the same person every week. And I don't want to be discriminatory and make it weird or anything, but I definitely want to have, have you guys on. So that's the plan. That's the loose framework is 3 nights solo, 3 nights with people, 1 night spoken for. That leaves 2 nights. So let's coordinate with Gus, Nebraska, Rich, Nicole, if you want to be on. I'm trying to get Truther Girl. If you guys follow her, Truther Girl and I talk quite a bit on messaging, and we're on the same page, especially with vaccines. She has a vaccine damaged child, and I've had a lot of experience with that with family and with my wife having been in medical billing coding for a pediatrics office. Pediatrician, however you would say that. And I want to get that out. I mean, we've got, dude, this week, 2 little boys came here. One was with this guy that I'm working for. It was his stepson. And I'm trying to think where the other one was. Maybe Chloe can remind me. And these poor boys were just vaxxed out. So tragic. And like you said, our son is non-vaccinated, breastfed, mostly organic food until recently. We've been off the rails a little bit. Healthy as an ox. I'm 5'8", and my wife's 5'2", 5'3", and they're saying he's going to be like 6'2", and he doesn't get sick, and he's so strong, he's so sharp, and these other boys come around him, and they're just like, like, that's terrible. I'm a terrible person to say that, but I'm just like, parents, like, measles isn't a thing to worry about. Risk reward isn't there. Diphtheria, tetanus, who gives a shit? Fucking stop it. Stop trusting them, and stop giving them your babies. It's hard. Yeah, I'm with you both. What? Let's see here a second. I gotta talk to you about vaccines. What else interesting? SIDS have gone down 70% since quarantine. That is interesting, Nicole. Oh yeah, brilliant. There's a video idea. If you wouldn't mind, I would do it. I don't know. I'm trying to like stay away from the vaccine thing a little bit, but yeah, that's... Look, very simply, into Nicole's point, we lead the world in vaccine schedule, and we lead the world in SIDS. Correlation, of course. It's just... The thing that's hard about it is this, and this goes back to what I was saying earlier with, I don't remember if it was Gus or Nebraska, we were talking about this with it was Gus, I think, with managing your house. We are young. We saw the kids, you know, like I remember the kid with the epilepsy and the other kid that was really handicapped, like arm things and couldn't manage himself, whatever. It was really tragic. I remember him on the bus very well when I was a kid. He was very disabled. So we all had that kid. He was like 1 out of 1,000 or whatever. And that was it. There's no autism to speak of. Everybody, they say now, oh, there's a spectrum. They just didn't know. No, it's different. It's changed. And what they'll do, these sycophants that run this thing, they'll just outlive us. And it'll become normal. That's what they always do. They just keep writing the textbooks, keep telling the story in the media, and then the people that were there to see it all die. Like, everybody that saw Kennedy get killed that day knew that he got shot from the front. Everybody saw that and knew it. And a lot of the witnesses were killed. Zapruder was bullied. And they just waited it out. And they just tell the story that Lee Harvey Oswald did. And then they write in the textbooks. How dangerous is that? You tell them what happened through the instant information in the media. And then you write it in the textbooks. 9/11, Osama bin Laden, Lee Harvey Oswald, Kennedy. Just right, that's it. And that's what people believe. And that's what they're going to do with this whole vaccine thing. Unless God comes and stops the whole thing. They're just going to wait till it's normal. It's already getting there. Like, oh yeah, every other person's fucking autistic. But nobody has the measles. Something that you would totally not die from at all. Ever. I gotta go, you guys. It's 10:30. Let's see here. I'm looking forward to everyone if the vaccine is in death. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Chloe, I had a feeling they never give me one. And look at you. 2 things with that, Gus. You're bright. Just talking to you. I can't believe how young you are and how bright you are. I mean, I can, but it's rare. And that's probably why. And you should thank your mom. You should thank your mom for being a bold, brave, intuitive mother who said to the medical establishment, this is my kid, right? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do what feels good for me. Because you know what? I'm his mom. And I know what's good for my baby. Praise God for your mom. And it sucks that she had to defy the orders. My good neighbor, literally good neighbor, who helped me put my alternator in. Alternator. Busy guy, works all the time. He's got 2 kids. Just gave his whole day to do this. Great guy, great Christian guy. He told me the story of his grandfather who started the whole Christian thing with that bloodline. It's a really beautiful story, epigenetically. But they vaccinated both their girls, and in both cases they didn't feel good about it. And in both cases, the mother went in and said, you know, I've got concerns. And in both cases, and shame on the doctor for this, in both cases, the doctor bullied her. Sucks. God is good, though. God is going to judge these people. Yeah, 1 in 1,000, Rich, exactly. Easy, Lulu. Yeah, sorry I get fired up. That's funny. Do you know? Sleep well, brother. Yeah, I gotta go. She didn't let them chop me up either. Yeah, good. Keep your appendix. Make sure you do that. Alright, guys. Love you. Thank you for another awesome night. You guys are great. Thank you for the time. Tomorrow, same time. Operating system if you can. Thursday, 8 o'clock. Love you guys.